life a better meaning. Let me stay where I'm in phase. I feel better on the weekend. I feel better on the weekend. Give my life a better meaning. Let me stay where I'm in phase. I feel better on the weekend. Lose control, get away. Lose control, no one ever may. Lose control, get away. I feel better on the
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Make sure I have my right camera on here. Welcome. If you don't know me, my name is John Good, and welcome to the show. Here, this is called Cyber Hour, and the whole purpose of this show is to just hop on here, hang out for about an hour. If people have questions, then ask those questions. Otherwise, talk about news or really just hang out and see if people have questions. If people don't hop on here or there are no more questions, something like that, then we will wrap up early, but try to get on here for about an hour and again, really just hang out, answer your questions. One of the hardest things that I've noticed people are having trouble with, let me check my audio here. So make sure my audio is good. But one of the problems that people have a lot of times, especially nowadays, trying to get into cybersecurity is really getting good information. There's a lot of information out there. Not all information is treated the same or created equally, right? There is good information, there's bad information, and there's information somewhere in between. But getting that good information is a very difficult thing that people have trouble with. And this gives an opportunity to really just hop on here again and give that information. If you don't know, you can certainly check out my background, what makes me a credible source, right? That's one of the things I always tell people is research your resources. Don't just take information blindly, know where you're getting it from. Is that person actually successful? If you're trying to become a doctor, you don't go ask, I don't know, a car salesman how to become a doctor, do you? No, of course not, because that doesn't make any sense. But for some reason, people still ignore that fact and they take advice from people that aren't in the kind of positions or haven't been in the kind of positions that they want to be in. Well, those people aren't qualified then to answer the questions or give information. So keep that in mind with anything, not just career advice, right? Anything in life. If there's somewhere you want to go, something you want to achieve, then you should probably take the advice from people that have been there or that are there. It's probably the best way to get solid information and information that will actually help you. So I digress, right? Just one of those things that I hate seeing is people that that are just spewing information that don't have the actual facts or the actual credibility for that guidance. And people are listening to them, and then they get frustrated because that advice, surprisingly, really not surprisingly, doesn't always work. A lot of times it doesn't work. And that can be frustrating, especially if you're in a career field, you're switching from another career field, and you want to try to elevate your situation. You want to get that good information. We all know that, right? Nobody wants to go slow. Everybody wants to go fast. It's just how it is, right? We're all trying to get there as fast as we possibly can. Ideally, being qualified. That's always the goal because that is what creates stability and security. So, Let's see, we'll give people a few minutes to hop in here. I see we already have some stuff coming in the chat and everything, and we'll hop into the questions. But one thing also, too, that I always like to ask is, where are you tuning in from? What part of the world? Are you tuning in from United States? Are you in Europe? Are you in Asia, Africa? We get people all over the world that tune into the show. So it's always good to see the different time zones. What time is it where you're at? It's another good question, right? For me, it's the end of the workday, wrapping things up. For other people, it might be getting close to bedtime. So always, maybe you're just waking up, right? It varies. So always good to hear and interesting to hear where people are tuning in from. Also, too, I don't know if you guys have like a Stanley Cup or something like this. So I was not a Stanley Cup person forever, right? But I finally got one, and I got they make these ice, they have these like ice molds. So just like an ice cube basically, but it creates a circular ice cube. So when you put it in there, there's 3 different ones, and it will just take up different spaces here. It keeps things so cold. It works so well. Such a genius idea, whoever did that. It's good information, right? Simple things are often the solution. It doesn't always have to be a super complex thing. That goes with tech. It goes with any product. There's so many things you can make simple solutions for, and you can just solve the problem. So, okay, so we're going to get to the chat here in a second. One other thing that I want to do here too is one of the key parts of the show, and the nice things about this show, is that you can hop on the show. I'll put the link in the chat here in a second. You can actually share your screen if you want to do something like resume review. You can join the show live. It's also priority to how you ask questions, just based on what you're doing. Obviously, things like Super Chat will go to the very front of the line. Also, if you join the show, you will also get put to the front of the line. That way, if we get a whole bunch of questions or something going on, we can kind of take them in that order. So, incentive just based on how you want to ask your questions. Because obviously, if you want to join the show, that's a huge advantage, and we welcome that. Get to hang out on the actual show. But there's ways to ask questions for everybody, right? And also with resume reviews, if you do want to have your resume reviewed, you can see the scroller at the bottom there, but you have to join the Discord server, which is in the description. There's a link. It's also going to scroll, I guess it doesn't scroll across there, but it'll be in the description. You can join there, go through the onboarding if you haven't already joined, because you have to unlock that area from onboarding. It takes a few minutes. It's not that difficult. But then you'll be able to upload your resume and do it. You can omit things, black out things, whatever you need to do before you send it in. But I will look in there as well and review your resume online if on the show if you put it in there. And again, based on the priority. So, but let me go ahead and put a link in here for the show if you want to join. All right, so the link is in the chat. So again, if you want to join the show, you're more than welcome to with your camera, with your audio, preferably both, right? This is an opportunity to hang out, always a good time, but you have that option as well. So looks like we have an initial question here. So let's go ahead and bring this one up here. So Randy says, Google CyberCert or Security Plus, and try HackMe SOC Level 2, solid for resume. So are those solid for resume? Which ones are good? So a lot of times with certifications, it depends on what you want to do. This may be something you've heard before, but it is a crucial thing to understand. Not all certifications are created equal. Not all are valued the same, depending on your path. So for example, if you want to work in a GRC role, which is a less technical role, I'm not going to say non-technical role because I know so many people say that. It is factually incorrect, but it's a less technical role. The barrier to entry for technical knowledge in that role is less because it doesn't focus as much on being able to do the technical aspects of the job. Still have to kind of understand the technical things and how these things interact to be a good GRC professional. But you don't have to have the most extreme certifications in the technical arena. You don't have to go out and get like an OSCP. Okay, so you have to understand that fact first. Not everything is created the same. Not everything is created equal. Not everything is valued equally. So, first question that I have for you is, what kind of job do you want? Now, as far as certifications go, I never, ever, ever recommend a security certification as your first certification. I think that is a recipe for not necessarily disaster, because you can recover, but it is absolutely not the most effective or efficient way to start your journey. There's this whole idea of understanding the things you're going to defend and how they work, and being able to comprehend that, at least from a conceptual level. Again, it depends on what kind of role you're doing. Conceptual level, technical level, it can vary. But you have to understand what you're trying to defend in order to effectively defend it. You can't just hop in one day and say, I'm a cybersecurity professional. I have no knowledge of how this widget or this application, this service works, but I'm going to defend it, because that makes absolutely zero sense, right? Of course. It's like a mechanic. If you have no idea how to fix a Ferrari or a car in general, you're not going to be a good mechanic. You're just going to jump in. You're not going to know what to do. It's the same exact thing, right? That's actually a good analogy. First time I've used that, I think. But it makes sense, right? If you don't know how a car works, you're not going to fix a car. Like, you're just not. You're not going to engineer it. You're not going to do anything with it. You don't know how to do it. So that's the first thing, is what kind of job you want to go for. Now, there's a whole bunch of things about certifications and the best choice and all that stuff. So that's, it's a long discussion. There's a lot to it. So I'll try to not go down too many rabbit holes here. But as far as certifications, nobody wants the Google Cybersecurity cert. Okay, no employer is asking for it. I don't care what Google says. Nobody's asking for it. They can say whatever they want. All you have to do is go on a job search board and see that nobody is effectively asking for that certification, or that certificate rather. Because certification, certificate, there's a difference. I'm not going to go into that difference, but there is a difference between the two. Okay, so nobody is effectively asking for that. With certifications, in a lot of ways, you're using that to get a job. So how can you use a certification to get a job if nobody wants it? Well, that's also a good point. So we don't know your level of knowledge. I'm guessing you're relatively entry level, because you're asking about these specific certifications. So I'm going to kind of assume certain things. Feel free to correct me in the chat if it's something different or whatever. But, typically what I recommend for people, and you'll find this in my ebook, go check out my ebook, grab that roadmap, look at it. There's a whole bunch of good information in there. You've got to know how networks work. You've got to know how operating systems work. Those are the two key things you've got to know. So typically I'll tell people, go for your Network Plus. Okay, that's kind of a good starting point. It'll give you enough network knowledge that you need. You can go for the CCNA if you want. I'm not going to go into that discussion. I have videos on that, why that's a bad idea, why it doesn't make sense, but we're not going to talk about that on here. But so something like the Network Plus, then maybe the Security Plus. Security Plus is by far one of the most in demand and requested security certifications that exist. Okay, so you're kind of covering your basis with that if you go for the Security Plus. Google Cybersecurity Cert is really just a way to kind of introduce you to the career field. It's not going to prepare you to do the job. Even the Security Plus might not necessarily prepare you directly or fully or proficiently for the job, but again, it's going to help you get jobs. So Security Plus is the way to go for sure. I wouldn't waste my time personally with Google Cybersecurity Cert. I did it for a video just to review it for people. There's a lot of flaws with it. Go check out my video if you haven't seen that. So you get the security, you got the Network Plus, get the Security Plus, learn operating systems, learn Linux, learn Windows. Again, check out my roadmap because I go way more in depth on this in my free ebook. But then you also want to learn about cloud. That will give you a solid foundation of just technology in general. That'll set you up well for any role in tech, IT, cybersecurity. That'll put you in such a good spot across the board. So you have a solid foundation. You'll have your Security Plus. It'll be in your kind of entry level security cert. Typically with certifications, it takes about 10 years for them to actually break into the employment market, the job market, for employers to actually recognize it, request it, demand it, those kind of things, right? It takes time. A certification is not just going to come out and you're going to be like, oh, every employer wants this. It just doesn't happen. The Try Hack Me certification is still really new. That just came out fairly recently. Hack the Box just started coming out with things fairly recently. So you're looking at probably 10 years or so, maybe a little less because of what they've done with their platform. But you're looking probably close to 10 years before that even becomes a thing. Will Try Hack Me or Hack the Box even be around then? I don't know, right? We'll see. But 10 years. Does that mean it won't be good to get some knowledge from it? You could certainly get some knowledge from it, but you have to use job postings to guide your what you go for. If you're looking at SOC certifications, something like the Blue Team Level 1 right now, or something like the GCIH, the GCIA, those are really the closest ones that people are going to mainly recognize. You could also throw the CYSA Plus in there. That's from CompTIA. So GIAC is GCIH, GCIA. Blue Team Security Blue Team is the Blue Team Level 1, and then CYSA Plus is from CompTIA. So really, I would stick to those first. I would not try to get these kind of ancillary certifications that really nobody even knows what they are. Nobody's requesting them. You have to be strategic with these things. Otherwise, you're just spending money, you're spending time to do things that may or may not have a payoff in the end. So that's why you have to be strategic. You've got to go for the things that people are asking for first, because that is the most likely thing that is going to have a return compared to something that's like brand new that nobody even asked for. Now, it can be hard to directly correlate value. I'm going to take these off the screen. It can be difficult to correlate value directly to a certification, right? Like if you got the CISSP, it can be difficult to say, oh, okay, that correlates to $50,000 in salary increase. I'm just throwing a number out here, right? Like don't take that as a grain of, or don't take that as absolute truth that you're going to get $50,000 for getting the CISSP. But it's hard to kind of attach that value to it because it's not necessarily a direct relation. Because again, when you go for jobs, they're looking at the whole profile. They're looking at your experience, your projects, your certifications, your education, your training, all that stuff. But you're giving yourself the best shot when you go for the things that people want. People are not strategic enough when they're going for jobs. Like, I'm telling you this right now. People are not strategic enough. They just want to be given kind of a path. And in this career field, things change so much. Your path is not going to stay static. You're not going to set your path and then in 20, 30 years, you've followed that exact path. Guarantee that's not going to happen. You're going to take twists, you're going to take turns, and you're going to get different certifications, maybe different jobs. you're going to have some things that happen that you're not expecting, especially if you really try to stick to a solid plan. And a lot of times that plan, if you're very strict to it, that's going to limit you anyways. You have to be open. You have to be flexible. That's how it is. So, long-winded answer for that question. Again, when people ask like specific certifications, especially if there's not enough context, like what's your experience level? What kind of job are you going for? If you're not giving that information, it's very difficult to even internally for yourself to kind of identify a good path or the correct path to go. For somebody who's been through this, who's been in the career field for quite some time, it's difficult for me too to give you a path when I don't know those things. Because those things directly dictate or determine what you should do. People don't always understand that. Again, people are not strategic enough in their choices. They look for kind of the blanket answer, but there's so much more to this. You'd be surprised how many things that we uncover and we go over in things like my career coaching sessions. And I offer these on Cyber Training Pro, but one-on-one sessions where we just dig at your experience, at your professional resume, your profile, what you bring to the table. How can we get you from point A to point B or point C? How can we get you to where you want to go? There's a reason why I've done the things that I've done in my career and how I've gotten to where I've got. Because I'm strategic. I do the things that are going to make the difference. Not necessarily the things that gatekeepers and such have said, right? That's important to understand. All right, we got another one on here. All right, so Crow says, hello. Could you help recommend some projects I could do to help me get a job? I have CompTIA, IFT Plus, ITF Plus, right? I think it's it's been a while since I've looked at that one. I think it's the ITF Plus, not IFT Plus. But regardless, and Security Plus. Currently trying to figure out if I should go for the Network Plus or, okay, no worries. It's late in the day for me too, so currently trying to figure out if I should go for the Network Plus or CCNA or both. Okay, so if you don't know what the IFT Plus is, ITF Plus, now you got me saying IFT Plus. ITF Plus is basically the very entry-level certification that CompTIA has. So you have like your CompTIA Trio with A Plus and all that stuff, Network Plus, Security Plus, all the other ones. The IFT Plus is like the technician level below the A Plus, essentially, even though they don't really like stack things up on each other. So it gives you kind of like a general introduction to some stuff. But yeah, so the ITF Plus, I said it again. ITF Plus, again, it's an introductory course, so we don't really think too much about that once you start getting other certifications, because again, it's just very introductory. It's not even enough to professionally make you proficient. But when you get the Security Plus, for example, so that's a higher level certification, you definitely don't have a strong enough network background, right? And you've kind of already alluded this in your choices. And that's actually the path that I did too, is I went and got the Security Plus first, and then I was like, I don't know networks enough. Like, I don't know enough about this stuff. I got to go back and learn this better, right? I don't bring enough to the table without knowing this better. So that's, good on you for recognizing that. However you got to that conclusion. That's also why I typically don't recommend a security. I don't recommend a security certification first. I always recommend getting something like the Network Plus first. Again, ebook. It's all in my roadmap in my free ebook. Check it out. It's in the description. Um, so as far as cybersecurity goes, the CCNA is overkill for almost 100% of the people that are in the career field. I had when I went back and I was learning networks, I got the Network Plus, I got the CCNT, which was like Cisco's entry level technician. It was the entry network technician certification. Then I got the CCNA because it was part of you had a two-part exam that you could take. So you could take a composite exam, which was everything across the objectives, or the two different exams, and it was broken in half, right? And then you got an extra certification. So I did that, and then I also got a CCNA in security. And I know that those are coming back. We'll talk about those another day, but um, honestly, the CCNA, that knowledge, as far as the breadth of knowledge across all the domains, went to waste. There was very little from that I didn't learn from the Network Plus that I used between both of the all three of those Cisco certifications. There's so much overlap now between the two, between the CCNA and the Network Plus, as far as like what you need to be proficient in networks. Because in cybersecurity, and I'm assuming we're talking about cybersecurity jobs here, we're talking about IT, then let me know, because that can shift things a little bit. But as far as cybersecurity, you're not going to need to know all that extra Cisco specific stuff. It's just not necessary. It's overkill. You can do it. It's going to take you longer, for sure, because the CCNA is harder. Like, no doubt about it, right? I'm not going to sit here and say CCNA is not harder. It is harder. You're also going to have to know the Cisco stuff on top of all the baseline stuff. So Network Plus is sufficient if you just want to learn some networking stuff and keep going down the security track. You'll also probably save money doing that way, because typically with Cisco, you're going to have to get some kind of networking equipment, or you can get like Packet Tracer. I think Packet Tracer is still free from Cisco, but you're going to have to get video courses and like all that stuff. It just typically takes people more of investment to get the CCNA. So you could take 2 months, maybe 3 months, get the Network Plus, maybe less. CCNA, you're probably going to take closer to 4, 5, 6 months. So it's going to take more time. It's going to take more money. It's up to you. But the Network Plus is all you really need. Now, if you're going into IT values Cisco certifications differently than cybersecurity, and they are typically more relevant. They can help get discounts for your organization. Like there's other benefits if you're going to go the IT track first, or if you find yourself in an IT role, then you kind of got to figure that out and make that decision. But yeah, again, it's overkill for cybersecurity for sure. Get the Network Plus. So if you're just joining the stream, in the chat, there's a link where you can join the stream if you want your resume reviewed or something like that. If this is the first time you're joining the show or checking out the show, again, my name is John Good. This is the Cyber Hour show. And what we do here is we just hang out for about an hour, ask questions, career advice, things like that. Just a chance to get some good information about the career field from somebody who's done it, who's been in your shoes, who's reached a very successful level, and creates a lot of content to help you out. That's what I do it for, to help you out. So let's see here. Yeah. So Crow, I'm currently in an IT role, but I want to make that jump to cyber. Yeah. See, so you're already in an IT role. So that's that's kind of the thing to understand. It's one of those weird things, because if you stay IT, you definitely probably want to get the CCNA Again, there's a lot of different like reasons why. But yeah, if you're just trying to get into cyber, you're just trying to up your networking knowledge a little bit. Yeah, Network Plus is good. You're already in IT, so you're already getting the experience. Unless you do something silly and like get fired or something, you're good. You don't need to just like stack on the CCNA. Now, if you want to go network security, you might, but um, we're not going to go down that path. Networking in general, at least the traditional networking, is kind of dying anyways. People always get mad when I say that, but it's true. Sorry. Cisco certifications are not the same that they were 10, 20 years ago. Networking engineering is not as in demand as it was 10, 20 years ago. So things have changed. Get over it. Get so much hate sometimes for things that I say. I just say it like it is. People get so like upset about that. It's like when I tell people to not go for the A+. You know how much hate that I get for telling people to not go for A+? There are so many trolls and noobs that come out that are like, no, you have to get it. I'm like, look at my LinkedIn and see my track record. Like, you don't have to get it. I help a lot of people, and there's a reason why I say the things I do. Because it works. All right, get some more questions here. All right. Hi, I'm Adi. Is that how you say it? Adi? Addy? Let me know. A final year master's student in global information security management. Could you advise me on the best career path, high demand skills, certifications, job roles, and business? I'm not sure what the last part of that was, and business what? um, but so one of the things you have to understand, and I don't know at this point because you didn't include the information as far as like, do you have experience? Because that kind of matters. We have a lot of people that are going for these degrees and they don't have experience, which is okay. I went for a cybersecurity degree, actually a master's degree. I didn't have any experience. That is what helped me get into the career field. And that's okay, right? Like that's not a problem, but it does impact your trajectory and your career path. It definitely impacts the kind of roles you're going to get right away. It impacts, so much, right? So you got to understand that first. Information security management. What is your experience level? What do you bring to the table? What skills? What certifications? What certifications? What skills do you bring? That kind of stuff. Because that stuff, again, it matters. Now, roadmap, right? Let's say you don't have any experience, because that's the assumption I'm going to make until I hear otherwise. So grab my free ebook. I always tell people to do this. I've put so much time and effort into that free ebook and the information that's in there that there's so much that's just laid out for you to consume and to help guide you in your career path. Go check that out. That will tell you the certifications to get, the skills to get, when to get them. That's going to apply to anything you want to do in this career field. That is going to set your foundation regardless of the path or the role. Okay, so go do that. It may overlap with your degree program, it may not. A lot of times it will be in addition to your degree program, because a lot of degree programs don't include certifications. It's just how it is. But you need certifications. Certifications are an important part of this career field in getting jobs. So go check that out. High demand skills or skill areas, we'll say, job roles, GRC, cloud, AI. Those three, those are where the money's going to be at for a long time. Everything else is kind of stabilized. There's still good money in other things. There's good money in security operations, penetration testing. Depends on what you're good at, what you enjoy. So that is an important factor, something you have to decide. Because if you don't like GRC, why would you go work in GRC? Pick a job that you enjoy. If you don't enjoy AI, don't go work in AI. Right? Like, these are common sense things. If you pick a job that you don't like, you're going to be miserable. You can switch because people do that, right? They change jobs. That's okay. Try out different jobs, check out different things. But you want to try to pick the best job you can that you enjoy. But GRC, AI, cloud, those are the three where the big time opportunities are going to be for a while. Certifications, again, check out the ebook. I don't want to duplicate the information. It's already out there for you. Go check it out. That will guide you. That will give you a solid foundation. And then that will allow you to kind of pick the path from there of where you want to go. And again, business, I don't understand what, or know what you were asking with the and business part. Like what kind of company to work for? I'm not really sure. If you let me know in the chat, then I'll come back to it. But yeah. All right. That's a good question. One that hasn't come up in a while. A topic that hasn't come up in a while. So how would you compare the Security Plus to ISC, ISC Squared, SSCP? So they were supposed to be competing certifications. That was the idea. Basically, the SSCP never took off. Security Plus won. Now, if we look at them, kind of and compare them as far as the content, what they're supposed to be, what they kind of are, the SSCP tends to be a little bit more, it's a little bit more technical, a little bit more in depth as far as the exam objectives and like what you cover, the length of it, right? Like all that kind of stuff. It also gets you in the frame of mind for something like the CISSP. Sometimes people will be like, oh, I'll go for the SSCP because it's like the baby brother to the CISSP. So I'm already in that mindset. I'm already prepared for how they're thinking for that exam. And so I'll be able to transition over. Because a lot of the SSCP is overlap with the CISSP. It doesn't cover as much, but it covers a lot of the domains. I want to say the SSCP is like five domains. Is that right? I think that's right. I think it's 5 domains. Whereas CISSP now is 8, I believe. Some of these things get jumbled in my head, right? Like it used to be 10, and they've changed so much. But they're different. They're different in the scope of what they cover. And also, SSCP is meant for a practitioner. The CISSP is meant for a manager, leader. But if we're comparing the two, Security Plus, do not bother with SSCP. It did not get enough traction. I think it was like 1,000 people or something, handful, 1,000 people, 5,000 people. I don't know. Like the amount of people that are certified with SSCP is so much less. It's not even worth going after. It's not like, oh, I got the certification that, fewer people have. Like it's more appealing to employers. That's not how it's going to happen. They don't care. They probably don't even know what it is. Honestly, a lot of people just don't know what the SSCP is. So don't go for it. Get the Security Plus. Easy decision. Let's see here. Hey, I'm a first year BS, so Bachelor of Science in Cybersecurity and Information Assurance student at WGU. Got a job title, Junior Cybersec Analyst, but the tasks I do are not Cybersec related, or not related. What to do in this case? Yeah, that's a problem that we're facing in a lot of organizations is you're seeing companies give cybersecurity titles to non-cybersecurity jobs. It's ridiculous, right? Stop it. Stop it. You're giving people this idea that they're doing cybersecurity and they're doing like an IT support job or something. Stop. Like, stop causing confusion for everybody. Um, so that's a challenge. But I guess, what do you mean? What do you do? Like, what does that mean to you? Like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to get another cybersecurity job? I don't understand exactly what you're trying to do. I probably need you to clarify that in the chat. But I'm guessing you want maybe more of a direct cybersecurity role that is actually doing cybersecurity tasks. Let me know if that assumption is wrong or if it's right. But not all cybersecurity jobs are 100% cybersecurity things day in and day out. So it's hard to, say like discard the title and search for an entry-level IT role. Again, I mean, I don't know, like what are you trying to accomplish? Because that's really the question here is like, you're asking what to do, but it's like, what are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to get an IT job? Because I don't understand that part, right? Like if you have the job title and you're trying to get into cybersecurity or a more cybersecurity job role, then really what you need to do is take that job that you're doing, understand more about what you're doing and the cybersecurity implications of the things that you're doing. Or if you are doing cybersecurity tasks that are more IT centric, what are those tasks? And how can you put a cybersecurity spin on that in your resume? That's really what you should be doing unless you're trying to get an IT job. If you're trying to get an IT job, you just do the same thing. You just spin it towards IT instead of cybersecurity. I mean, going for the cybersecurity degree, I'm guessing you want to be in cybersecurity. So I wouldn't go to IT. I wouldn't go cybersecurity to IT to cybersecurity because that doesn't make any sense. You're already in there as far as somebody knows if they just look at your job title. Sometimes job titles can impact how people perceive your experience. They're like, oh, you have a cybersecurity job title, you're probably doing some cybersecurity things. Just inherently, because you have that job title. So now people switch between IT and cybersecurity. They do that stuff. If you want to stay in one of the areas, though, it's generally not a good idea to leave. It can be easier to go from IT to cybersecurity back to IT. Typically, going cybersecurity to IT can be challenging because it's a different skill set. And then if you want to go back to cybersecurity, that can be a more difficult path. So cybersecurity to IT, back to cybersecurity. That can be challenging. Let's put this one up here, this follow-up comment. Goal is cybersecurity, but entry barrier is so high. I'm lost between keeping this experience on my resume and lie about it to get a cybersecurity role or start fresh from help desk. Yeah, again, I mean, you're thinking about this all wrong, right? You have the job title in cybersecurity. You need to think about the cybersecurity tasks. I guarantee that you don't just have a cybersecurity job title and you're not doing something that's related to cybersecurity. You may not think it's related, but it probably relates to the domains in some way. What does it say? I got assigned random tasks like rebuilding the Linux kernel to make it compatible with specific wireless card. and most are other tasks or research. Yeah, I mean, you just need to think about what the tasks are and how you can bridge that into cybersecurity. It's your first job, so it's not going to be like, oh, you have the most demanding cybersecurity tasks ever. But going to a help desk job from the current role that you have right now, that's not a good idea at all. I would definitely not do that. That sounds terrible. That is, the problem is, okay, so when you look at your resume, let's take that for example. Everything that you have on your resume should show the same story. If I see your resume and you have a cybersecurity job and then you went to a help desk job, that's going to draw up a lot of questions and not in a good way. It's going to be very curious why you would have gone to a higher level job and got into that, and then you regressed to a really one of the most entry level kind of jobs that you can have in tech, right? Story wise, that's not going to line up. It's not going to make sense. It's going to be hard for people to comprehend that or digest that just looking at your resume alone. So don't do that. A lot of this career field is figuring out how to get from your current role to where you want to be. Okay, so if you're in a cybersecurity role, what are the cybersecurity things you're doing? How can you phrase that in a cybersecurity fashion? Talk about the cybersecurity impact of those tasks. How can you leverage that to then get to that next role, that true cybersecurity role as you're talking about? So yeah, sometimes people go down roles or they take laterals or take weird moves, but it just doesn't line up like with your objectives. If your objective is to get into cybersecurity, don't go to help desk to try to do that. You're going to shoot yourself in the foot and you're going to have a harder time going from the help desk to a cybersecurity role. Even like if you were to go from help desk, let's say trying to get a job that's similar to your current role, it's going to be way more difficult. So it's not a good decision. Don't do that. Do not do that. Do not do that. Try to figure out how you can phrase things as cybersecurity on your resume. Don't lie. Lying is not good. You will get called out for lying. It's very easy for somebody who's seasoned in this career field to tell that you're just lying. Don't do that. It will not work out well for you. But just think about the cybersecurity things or implications, the connections, how you can bridge that to what you want. Aiming for a SOC analyst position. What should I do to get companies to even look at my resume? Do things that make you stand out. That is like the simplest thing that I can say to you that will make a dramatic difference. Do things that make you stand out. Don't just do the boilerplate things or the cookie cutter things. Do the things that are going to make you stand out. Do projects. Go network with people. Go volunteer. Those are the things that make you stand out. Write white papers. Contribute to the community. Contribute to open source projects. Write documentation for people. Those are all things that people just don't do. And they're like, but I can't get into this career field. It's so difficult. I mean, it's not easy, right? Like, you're going to have to work, but those things are not that difficult. Like, you can just go help with those things or go contribute to those things. Put a little extra effort in, and it will pay off. What kind of projects? Anything you can think of. Every time you're studying something, think of a project you can do for that. Think of a project you can do with that technology, that protocol, with that software. How does that relate to a business? Projects are not the ultimate solution, right? Projects are just another thing to help you stand out. People give projects get the wrong idea with projects as well, because they think, well, instead of going to network with professionals that are in the career field, I can just do a project and that will replace so much of what I need to do. Not true. Not true. It is just another thing. It's like another certification, kind of. Not exactly. It's a different purpose. But really, yeah, just go do any kind of project that you can think of. Even if it's duplicating projects that other people have done and you want to expand on that, that's fine. Do that. Document it. Write it up. Write an article on LinkedIn. Write a blog post on your blog. Do something on GitHub. Find a way to automate doing something. There are a million different projects or things that you can do. It's really not about the specific project, because projects don't directly replicate the real world environment. So having to recreate the wheel is not something you have to do. You just don't have to do that. Just go find projects that people have done. Get some kind of project on your resume. If you think of a different project, you're studying something and you're like, oh, this would be a cool idea to try out. Awesome. Go do that. Spin up a lab with a SIM tool like Waza or Splunk. Figure out how to create dashboards. Document it. Definitely not that difficult as far as like conceptualizing that. People get this idea that it has to be some massive, elaborate thing. It doesn't. We just want to see you're doing projects. You're experimenting. That's the real value of those. If you can create something that is like, super intricate, super complex, useful for real enterprises, obviously that's amazing, but it doesn't have to be what you do. That's not the project that you have to do to stand out. If you haven't seen my S tier video on how to become an S tier candidate, definitely check that out. It's on the channel. I go through every tier of candidate and what you have to do to become that tier. You're trying to become an S tier candidate because you want all the job opportunities. You want to unlock higher salaries. There is a path to that. There are different levels to that and different things you have to do. But typically getting involved in the community, kind of as you go up those tiers, I'm not going to give you all the tiers in this show, in this stream. Go watch that video. They're already all there. But getting involved in the community, the things that take more effort, are the things that make you a higher tier candidate. And then last one, go to get the opportunities for volunteering or contributing. Search for them. Find projects. Just start looking at tool lists. Literally, this is so much stuff that you just have to uncover as you're learning, as you're finding tools, as you're finding technologies. Go search for them. Go Google them. As far as your own stuff gets contributed because you're involved in the community. You're interacting with people, engaging with people in the community. You're presenting. Maybe you're at a conference and you present a paper. You present a project. All that stuff. This is all about personal branding. Get your brand out there. Get yourself out there. People that put themselves out there, that put their name out there, that build their professional and personal brand, those are the ones that really stand out. It's about getting yourself out there. There's so many like self-help books and stuff like that, how to build a personal brand, all that stuff. you can certainly look at those because this is part of the game. Building your brand is part of the game. The people that are known, that are out there in the community, those are the ones that have the most opportunities available to them. It's not the ones that are just hanging out, in their office or at home, whatever, in their bedroom, that are just learning. Those are not the ones that are going to get the best opportunities, even if they're the smartest. You've got to make it known that you can contribute to the community. Thanks for the great channel and content, John. Hey, you got it. I'm glad to help people. I'm glad to give information that people need, that helps people. It's it's my way of giving back to such a great career field, the things that I've learned, things that I've discovered in my journey. And for me, it was definitely a difficult journey, right? There was not resources like there are today. There's not creators or professionals like myself that are willing to get on here and talk about some of this stuff. That did not exist when I was coming up. That's why I do it. I do it to help, right? To really make the information accessible to you so that you can learn from those lessons and you can then, in 10, 20 years, whatever it is, you can give back, right? You can help accelerate people in the future based on the lessons that you've learned. We're just essentially paying it forward, right? Trying to make future people's journey more accelerated than our journey. Don't think about it as competing. We're thinking about it as helping, right? We're giving back. We're trying to help people and do the things we need to do to help others succeed, because that's what's going to push the career field and the profession forward. Thank you, man. Hey, you bet. Thank you for answering our questions. Absolutely. Again, that's why I do this. Do it every month. So I have a lot of other stuff that's coming, a lot of content. If you haven't seen, I've been putting up courses and things on the channel. So definitely check those out. Give those a watch. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that's coming too. So it's not just, there's a whole bunch of stuff coming. I have a lot of different initiatives and things that that I'm really looking to push out. And hopefully you're on board for that. So let's see here. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We are at the top of the hour, just over 2 minutes over. But again, thanks to everybody for joining. Love hanging out with you guys. Feel free when I do these to hop on here. Again, every time I put the link in the chat so you can join and you can check it out. And yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap it up for the day. Thanks for joining. I'll see you next time.